So let's talk about loneliness. Not right away. After a few days in Australia, I started feeling lonely. I had traveled with my dad and Matthew through all of New Zealand, so I always had someone there that I knew, someone there that I could go do things with. And then when I got into Australia, it was really nice for the first day or two, just kind of being able to not do anything and just kind of take some time for myself and, get like a little bit of downtime. And then that started transitioning into having too much downtime, too much time by myself. And one thing that I think made it worse for me as well was that a lot of the hostels in Sydney seemed like the residents in them were very cliquey. Everyone had groups of friends already. Because of there being so many people there on working holiday visas, everyone knows people that are there. A lot of them are there long term, so they all have groups of friends that they hang out and do stuff with. And so that made it where I felt like I was very isolated and like everybody had their groups of friends already. And I didn't really make an effort to introduce myself to anybody or to get into any of those groups. And so then, after about a week had gone by, it started kind of affecting me. I had gone and done things with people sometimes. Every once in a while there'd be, oh, here's somebody else that's all alone, so we'd go do something. But then those never were relationships that lasted very long because they would move on. They were people that were traveling through and they were just there for a day. So we'd go walk around and do something together, and then the next day they would leave. And so I started just kind of getting to the point where I felt like I didn't have any friends. I wasn't going out and meeting anybody, and it was making me feel like that, like I was invisible. I would be there, no one would pay me any mind, and so I just was feeling like I was invisible and like I didn't really matter at all. And then when I got out to Katoomba, when I got pushed out there because of the lack of hostels in Sydney from the Mardi Gras parade, I was sitting out there and I was reading a blog about loneliness, and it was talking about, oh yes, you have to get out of your comfort zone and go introduce yourself to people. And then it had an example of, oh, you go up to the pool table and say, who's playing next? And, that's your way of kind of getting yourself in with whoever's playing pool or whatever. And it just so happened that this hostel had a pool table. And as I'm reading this, I look up and there is one person all by himself setting up to play pool by himself. So I'm like, oh my goodness, this is quite coincidental that I'm reading about approaching someone at a pool table and here's somebody by themselves at a pool table. So I'm like, all right, swallow my fear and my whatever and go introduce myself and play a game of pool with him. And then he was actually somebody that I ended up traveling with for probably 6 days. Had an awesome time with. It was really, really good. And I ended up then kind of stepping out of my comfort zone some more at this hostel out in Katoomba, and ended up with a group of about 4 people that I was hanging out with all the time. We traveled together. We just, did stuff together, and it was really awesome, feeling like I belonged again, and having a group where people are excited to see me. I felt like I was kind of contributing again and like I mattered. So there's maybe another lesson to be learned here where, needing to realize what it is that I'm needing and then how it is that I get that, and then doing what needs to be done to make that happen. So traveling can be lonely, but it does not have to be lonely. The difference is just if you go and do what you need to do to ensure that you're not lonely. So that was my lesson there. So moving forward, going to try and do a lot better about making sure that I am getting what I need as far as community and as far as friendship and as far as having people to do stuff with. I don't want people to do stuff with all the time because I do like having a little downtime and a little time to myself. But when I start feeling lonely, then I need to go out and find somebody and get out of my comfort zone and make what needs to happen before it becomes me feeling lonely and feeling like I don't matter.